she looks like she's like dead, right? Her skin's all pale,
kind of zombie-ish,
so she's like a zombie, and
little nuts.
And like when you go nuts, you sew, you sew
you make a spandex outfit?
You make a leather outfit, or like I just like and smash your apartment up, and
What's up, my nerd?
Welcome, everyone, to the Credible Nerds podcast. My name is Justin. We are back again with our Batman review series. Last time we covered Batman from 1989, the first Michael Keaton movie. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. It's on a YouTube channel. But this time we'll be talking the second Michael Keaton Batman film, Batman Returns. And this was a little different than the last one. Some similarities, a lot of differences, and we will be discussing all of that. But first, I want to introduce and recognize my fellow vigilantes, partners in crime. We got Nathan and Blake. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Doing great.
Awesome. Thanks
Glad
for being
to be
here.
back.
Yeah. And this movie came out in 1992, so it's quite a few years old. And
like me.
Yeah. It's not as dated as I thought it would.
32 years, right?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
It's been a while. It's not as dated or antiquated as I thought it would be, but there's definitely some signs that it's, a 90s movie, but I thought it held up well as far as that goes. A lot of practical effects, props, models, all that stuff, right? Compared to the CGI stuff we see nowadays. Do you guys have a preference with, that sort of thing?
I don't know. I like them both. I mean, this was 92. That's a year before Jurassic Park. Mm-hmm. And I think Jurassic Park aged a little better than Batman Returns. But but I do like the models and the, kind of the practicality of the special effects. It's cool.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with either. I appreciate practical effects. My only, measuring stick is, can I tell? Is it obvious that it's, not what I'm seeing is a model, or is it like CGI? Because if it's too obvious, then it takes away. It's distracting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
look at that.
Yeah.
I see the string.
Yeah. As long as it's not, as long as it's done well enough that it doesn't distract, then I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Cool. Well, so like I said, this came out in 1992. The kind of the genesis, or rather the beginning of the film. It starts out with Penguin being born, and his parents, Paul Rubens played the dad, and I forget the name of the mom, but she's kind of
the Rachel Dratch, maybe, was it? Oh, no, but a Saturday Night Live lady.
Yeah.
From the 90s or whatever.
Was it? Oh.
Yeah.
She was recognizable. But they give birth to this penguin, this Edward Cobblepot. We find out later. And he's so hideous and so deformed that they are aghast, and they take him out for a walk in his baby carriage in the winter.
But you didn't mention that he
yes.
killed a cat or something.
Yeah. It sounds like they were willing to put up with him at first.
Yeah.
They had him locked in his
cat
cage,
incident.
playpen, and then he killed the cat. And they're like, oh, that's enough. So instead of taking him to like DCFS or orphanage or somewhere, they dump him in the river in his baby carriage. Pretty dark stuff right off the bat. So it's kind of interesting.
Was it Jan Hooks?
Yeah, there you go. Jan Hooks.
I had to look it up. Give her due credit. Jan Hooks, from SNL, Yeah, that was... I like how... I imagined I could see a cat being pulled through bars and all its bones being crushed. And was he eating the cat? Was it just?
He was more of a fish guy, but I don't know.
He must have been, when you think about it. He would have had to have been like a full-blown toddler, right? Because I just imagine he was still like a baby. But if he was able to be in a thing and reach through and pull something, he's probably older,
at least about 1 year old.
Yeah. So they put up with that kid for at least a year.
Yeah.
So he gets dumped in the river, goes to the sewers, kind of grows up there in the sewers. He ends up being in charge of the Red Triangle Gang, and they are a band of circus performers who tour the country here and there and steal kids or do something nefarious like that. So again, another dark topic. With the circus performers, I was kind of expecting to see a callback or a reference to the Graysons, Flying Graysons.
Oh yeah.
Nightwing, kind of that type of thing, but we didn't.
I think there was going to be a Robin introduction in this movie, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
One of those little factoids, when they're developing the script. But, yeah.
So he stays hidden for like 33 years later, despite being the leader of that gang. But then he shows up. Actually, the main villain, I think, is the main villain. I think we talked a little bit about that, is Max Schreck, played by the young Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
He still has that cadence, though, but you kind of pick up on it. But I didn't remember him being in this movie the first time I saw it, or didn't recognize him, I guess, back then. But what do you guys think of his performance, his inclusion as Max Schreck?
What do you think, Nate?
I loved it. Classic Christopher Walken. I mean, couldn't.
Yeah. I felt like there were times that he was kind of like not very, like he didn't have a lot of dimension to him.
Yeah.
But then every once in a while, like you say, the Christopher Walken, when he pushes her out the window, and then at the end when he he recognizes her as his assistant. Yeah. And says you're fired, and all of that.
Yeah. You're fired. I love doing the Chris Walken accent.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's good. So they meet up. They hatch a plan to take over the city with a power plant, and eventually put Penguin in as the mayor so he can pull the strings and get this power plant approved. In the meantime, Shrek has this administrative assistant. Not a secretary, but an administrative assistant, who starts to see the file. So he pushes her out the window. That ends up being Selina Kyle, and she turns into the Catwoman. She falls into the alley. This part was really weird. All the cats kind of jump her, and they're crawling all over her, biting her, licking her face. And I don't know, did she come back from the dead?
So what was that? Was that like supernatural? Because she kind of did come back with 9 lives, and she could do like handsprings now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, I mean, so you cat chews on your fingers and you become, what you just described. I was like, okay, I don't.
Yeah, it's a little confusing.
I just I didn't buy it.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is dumb.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But she does survive, and then she sews this sexy cat's costume and starts wearing that around.
So and when she comes in, she looks like she's like dead, right? Her skin's all pale,
kind of zombie-ish,
so she's like a zombie, and
little
then
nuts.
And like when you go nuts, you sew, you sew
you make a spandex outfit?
You make a leather outfit, or like I don't know. And smash your apartment up, and I guess that's your first instinct is like, I'm a walking dead cat now. I guess I'm
gonna drink some milk. I'm gonna smash some stuff.
My neon sign
welcome to hell, or
what was it?
Hell is here.
Hello there, and then it changed to hell here. Hell's here.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny, like, and I'm just gonna sew.
Like crazy.
I'm like, oh. So when my wife's sewing, I guess I better watch out.
Yeah,
right?
Get out of the way.
Yeah.
But she does come back a little crazy, altered personalities, I guess. So then her, Catwoman, and Penguin team up, and they decide to take down Batman because he's a nuisance.
Which that scene was one of the most uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
Like scenes of like foreplay and flirting that I've ever seen.
Yeah. The one where they're up on the second floor, like
in his hideout or whatever.
On the bed. Oh yeah.
And they're like both like flirting with each other and eating animals.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So weird.
You know what's hot? If I eat your bird.
I'm gonna eat your bird. Wait, you're gonna eat my cat?
I'll stab your cat if you eat my bird. Yeah.
Yeah, really strange.
And she's like, I'll come back later.
I'm not that crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the rest of the story is how they try to. What are they trying to do? They're trying to not make him a martyr. So they don't want to kill him right off the bat, but they wanted to bring him down, like make him a villain.
Yeah.
So
turn the people against him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which never did they ever.
Never works.
No,
that's not true. They did. The boomerang.
They did.
Yeah.
The boomerang and then the.
Yeah. We'll talk about all that.
Yeah. Keep going. Keep going.
It just the rabbit hole just gets deeper and deeper on this one.
Yeah.
So I do want to bring up Selina Kyle, Catwoman. We talked about how she's crazy. The cats bring her back to life. We think kind of that's what happened. I thought Michelle Pfeiffer, who played Selina Kyle, did a great job with the material that she was given. I thought she acted it out great. So I have no complaints or criticisms of her and what she did. Maybe you guys think differently, but I thought she did the role really well. The tension between, not the Penguin, but Bruce Wayne and Batman, I thought was good. Very reminiscent of what we see in the comics. They have this love-hate relationship. They're trying to kill each other one minute, and then they're kissing the next minute, and then they're back to fighting each other, and they work together, and then they work against each other. It's just all over the place, and so I thought they did that really well with this, at least with that. And these actors did great. But one thing I was watching when Selina Kyle goes back to the mansion and her and Bruce are sitting by the fireplace, he's thinking, they talk about Vicky Vale a little bit. Like, I lost, I had a girlfriend, but she's gone now. And in my mind, I saw him thinking, this is Vicky's replacement. This is the next one up. And he's like, trusts her, thinks she's innocent, naive, right? This great person. So it kind of set up in his mind that, this is Vicky Vale 2.0, but she's like the anti-Vicky Vale.
Yeah.
Right? She's the complete opposite. And so she has this dark side. And I thought that was one of the things in this movie that I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think, one of the cool parts about that relationship is that he kind of liked that. He's like, I've got a little bit of a dark side. Yeah. She's got a little bit of a dark side. This is all right,
Yeah. But did he know that though at that time? Because I don't.
At that time, no. But later on, he figured it out.
So that wouldn't have been his attraction to her, right?
I think the attraction in the beginning was just that she jumped on him and started making out with him.
Yeah.
And then he was along for the ride. Yeah.
The girl makes the first move. Right. I like this.
Yeah. But they were introduced in the beginning sequence of the film when all this stuff's going on. Batman drives up in his Batmobile and meets her, and she's like, it's Batman.
Yeah. They have a little bit of He definitely was physically, saw her, caught his eye for sure and wanted, hey, come on to my place for dinner, that's for sure. Yeah. But it is interesting. Maybe it's a sixth sense kind of a thing that he picked up on, that there's something about this woman that I'm attracted to beyond just looks that has to do with some sort of duality
dark side
in an identity, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think he picked up on it when they towards the end when they're in that ball at the Shrek's place, and she was in that black dress looking great, and he's like, dang, she's looking good. But then they're talking, and there's like this talk about masks, and I want to take off my mask, and all that stuff. I think that's when he starts to pick up on it.
Well, and then they say the thing about mistletoe.
Yeah.
Right? And then and that was kind of a cool scene, because then she says, like, do we have to kill each other now? Or do we have to fight each other now?
Yeah.
Which, it was kind of.
Well, and cool. You have to appreciate the symbolism in that particular scene, because it's a masquerade ball, and neither one shows up with a mask.
With a mask, and everyone else does.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's their true is the persona that they put out there, is that their mask, and who their real identity is Catwoman and Batman, right? But I certainly appreciate that part of that scene and that kind of Easter egg, if you will.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So this is probably one of the few things, if only thing, I liked about this film is just kind of Michelle Pfeiffer. She was crazy. The whole cat bringing her back to life. I don't get that. I was like, well, make that more believable. But outside of that moment, I liked it. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
I thought she was good.
It doesn't have to be some supernatural thing. It could just be she's like, I'm probably referencing a more current Batman, but like a cat burglar who's just really, she has, but not like really a cat, right? Like the scene that you referenced earlier. She's like, I'm going to take a bath. And she's like licking her arm and like, what are you cleaning?
Like what?
Yeah, she licks her arm and she's
licking
rubs
her.
in her
Some
head.
of it works and some of it doesn't.
Licking the latex and rubbing the latex. I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, come on,
that was
just dumb.
Yeah,
You didn't try that move at home or anything.
Yeah.
hey honey. But I did notice the music, like her theme song in the soundtrack, was very similar, if not the same, to what we saw in the Batman. Very, very similar. I doubt it's the same, but very similar vibe with strings and kind of this mysterious. I kind of like that callback. So
I definitely agree. I mean, as far as acting goes, she did a great job, as did a lot of the actors in this.
Yeah.
Did a great job with the direction that they received and the dialogue. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one character, Catwoman. Well, I don't know, Blake. What do you think about these other guys?
Yeah. So the other character that they really built was Cobblepot, the Penguin, and it was interesting. Like you say, he was kind of abandoned by his parents. He was an orphan. And so one of the things that I thought was interesting is just kind of that duality, that mirror kind of relationship between him and Batman. And they explored it a little bit. Like there was a time when, Bruce Wayne was talking, Michael Keaton was talking about, like he was on the news. He had come up at 33 years old and it kind of saved a baby, which is ironic because they were more in the business of stealing babies, I guess. But he came up and Bruce Wayne, he was like, man, I hope he finds his parents. I kind of feel for him. And so they had this connection. They were both, or at least I think that's what they were trying to build. They were both orphans. They both kind of started the same way. They were both from a rich family. I mean, both of their orphan lives probably weren't quite the same. They were quite the same, but but I don't know. What did you guys think about that? Did you guys appreciate that? Did that give you a little bit of like a soft spot for the Penguin? And what did you think about that?
I liked it in the sense that we see what could happen because we're all familiar with Batman, Bruce Wayne's story. Lost his parents, became an orphan. He used that to turn into a reason to fight crime, to right the wrongs. But yet with Penguin, we see what happens often as well is they take revenge. They're bitter. They want to change or inflict the same pain upon other people and watch the world burn, right? So I think that was a good juxtaposition of, hey, this is what could happen. This is what could happen. Who's going to win, right? Which side is going to win, good or bad? And as usual, the good side wins in the movies overall. So I liked it. I thought it was really cool how they were able to balance that out a little bit.
What did you think, Nathan?
Yeah, I appreciated it, but there are a lot of things that I did struggle with. But Danny DeVito was an awesome Penguin as far, again, as acting goes. Right. And I definitely caught on that same kind of theme, but then also opposites, because obviously Bruce Wayne was in a cab mansion and Penguin's in a suit in the sewers, right?
Yeah.
So there's that dynamic. But going a little deeper beyond just that part was what I didn't appreciate was Penguin's the origin story. He's supposed to be this gang leader, and they really didn't. I don't think they did a very good job of fleshing out what really his role was beyond just like, and we can get into it later, but it seems like he just wanted to find out who he was.
Yeah.
And like, I just want to, but yet he's supposed to be this gang leader running this gang. But the premise in the movie is when he shows up, he's like, he just wants to use his Max Shrek, which I don't know why, but he would use him to figure out who his parents were. And that seemed to be it at that moment in time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, he doesn't come off as like this,
Like this
much of a
mastermind
villain,
or, yeah.
just a victim, really.
Yeah.
But a gang leader at the same time. So I'm like, what is going on here? And we'll talk more about it. But
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. I think like there were times when he was just a lost soul or whatever, trying to find his identity. And then there were times that he was just very brutal and evil, and he would just kind of switch very quickly, you know, in those cases, just like with when he was talking to Catwoman, and then the whole situation with the, and we'll talk about this probably a little more too, the lady who lights the tree. What was she?
Yeah. I think she's officially called the Ice Princess.
Something like that.
The Ice Princess. There you go. But yeah, he kind of seemed like a man without a plan that just kind of went where the wind took him or where his passion took him, versus being like a mastermind over the Red Triangle group and all the things they were doing. So that was interesting. But Danny DeVito I was a little torn because, man, he just was really good in that role. And then at the same time, I'm just like, man, this is like the way he breathed and the way that he growled and
gross.
snarled and
the grunting
did things like ate fish.
Raw.
So weird. By the way, never, I guess, give somebody a raw fish before you do like a surprise party or a kickoff for a government, I don't know, run for office.
Announcing your candidacy for office.
Yeah.
And even like, he's like, it's December, elections were just last month.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah. That was another surprise. Something I'd forgotten is this is Christmas.
Yeah.
All this is going on.
It's a Christmas
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Christmas
that's right.
miracle.
And I didn't, and again, I'm like, so did they go to Penguin? Did they make him look too much like a penguin with the feet and the hands and the body and the build and the nose? Was it too much for you guys?
For me, it was.
Yeah. And was it like too literally like a penguin? Eating raw fish was like, that's, for me, it was too.
Yeah. What we saw in the Batman with, what's his name?
Pattinson.
Pattinson is Batman, but the guy who played Penguin, I thought that was a good representation of Penguin.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. An homage to a penguin-esque kind of look but like not literally a penguin.
Yeah, not half penguin.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We talked about it last time in the last review with Joker, how that was more of a Joker movie. And we kind of got that same feel with this one, where we get Penguin's origin story, we get Catwoman's origin story, and Batman's just kind of in the background. He shows up, kicks some butt, goes away. But it's all about Penguin scheming with Max Shrek, and Catwoman and Penguin scheming and their plans and what they're doing, and Batman's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Well, even more so than in the first one, right?
Yeah.
Like in this one, it really was him just watching monitors and showing up and doing a couple things, saying a couple one-liners and
eating carrots.
Yeah, eating carrots. We talked about that. Like Batman sitting there eating carrots, like building his plan while I don't know. Carrots are not the treat.
No.
They're not the snack for Batman.
Was this the one? I'm sorry. Was this the movie where the scene where Alfred brings up some soup and it's cold, and he's just like, it's cold, and he's like, it's supposed to be. It's a cold soup, and he's just like, oh, all right, and he starts eating it. Yeah, like okay, that's a scene, I guess.
Well, we did get to see him go into his bat cave and choose his suit.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
And his boots. They're all the same, but he had to pick the certain one for that day, I guess.
And they're on hangers.
Yeah, they're on hangers.
And he's picking them out. Does he have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yeah.
I did appreciate that. And I did think that this suit was better than the movie in the previous movie.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they had, we made some money. It looks like the production company was able to put a little bit more, throw a little more money towards the props and this suit. The other one looked like very foam rubbery, where this one looked a little bit more molded, like it was a legit suit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Well, so those are some of the good things about the movie.
Yeah.
What do you think, Nathan?
Well, so my biggest thing with this movie was just the plot or the lack thereof. I just didn't really get. Well, I mean, the premise is you've got this penguin who I would have hoped from, before watching the movie that he would have been the mastermind, if you will, of the movie. But it turned out that Max Schreck seemed to be the one who was pulling all the strings and was manipulating the penguin. I would have much rather have liked it the other way around. I mean, if he's leading this gang, then I would have hoped that there was a plot where Penguin has this much bigger motive that we don't find out until maybe 3/4 of the way into the movie. That's this big reveal. Then you're like, oh wow, he's been the one behind all of these events, and these are the reasons why they've been happening. But turns out it's about Max Schreck wanting to build apparently a power grid, or a power plant rather, that it will not make power but steal power. And the only way he'll get it is because the mayor won't approve it. Is his big evil plan is to usurp the mayor with the guy that looks like a penguin. I mean, and Batman's whole goal is to stop a power plant from being built. I mean, that is the plot?
Yeah.
Like
that's the same plot from Breaking 2. Right? They're trying to stop a community. I don't know. Anyway,
stop a community center from being torn down,
built or torn down, or
like
built and then torn down.
And I'm like, it's like, are we supposed to where's the sense of danger or urgency? It's like, this is like a political movie, and just hire some lawyers and get it bogged down in the court system or something. I just don't get it. And I just really wish that they had, this is supposed to be Penguin. He's a leader of a gang. I would have again hoped that he was more of the mastermind and Max Schreck was the puppet versus the other way around. And then when Selina she goes back to get the paperwork that she forgot. She's going through the file cabinets. He comes in and she's like, oh, never mind. I'm just sitting here going through all these files that I broke into using your secret password. And this is all the stuff I just found out about you. Why would you disclose that you just did that? Why would you tell your boss you broke into his computer or his file and stole it, and now his secret plan? That was and
say, I forgot my coat. I'll see you Monday.
Right.
And that's it.
And then he pushes her out the window. You could have probably saved yourself from being pushed out the window if you didn't just share everything that you just secretly found out. I mean, I mean, at the end of the day, just the plot was terrible. And on a side note, when I put the movie on, my son comes walking in the room and he's like, you watching A Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, no, it's Batman Returns. And he's like, looks the same to me. I'm like, yeah.
I got that vibe too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like, it looks like this was Tim Burton's warm up for A Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm like, yeah, you never let Tim Burton go full Tim Burton.
Yeah. Well, I checked and Break Into Electric Boogaloo. There is no relation. Like, there's not the same writers or anything. It was
okay.
released in '84, so maybe they like saw that and like, hey,
inspired by
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
But
a lot of movies are inspired by Electric Boogaloo.
And then the screenwriter was Daniel Waters, who also wrote Demolition Man.
Oh, there you go.
So he did improve, but he hasn't done anything else really recognizable. Hudson Hawk, I guess.
Oh, Hudson Hawk.
That's a famous
right?
Yeah, famous
or TV show. Was it a TV show?
No, it was a movie, like a famous failure, like one of those.
Oh, like
Bruce Willis,
like
Andy McDowell.
Biggest bombs. That's the one. Yeah.
Well, I know that this Batman Returns did half the revenue of the original. Yeah. And it did. When people started seeing it, obviously the word got out that it was dark. And when we say dark, I mean Batman movies are dark. We're not talking about the actual physical lighting. We're talking about
Tone, some kind of
penguin's
themes
teeth, because the whole movie were black. And I'm like,
if you're gonna run for mayor, brush your teeth.
Yeah,
man.
like what is he
Take
eating?
a shower.
Could you imagine?
Take off that unitard.
Yeah.
Get a new one.
Change your underwear.
Yeah, wash your hair.
You got the money with all that.
Yeah. It made $266 million. I don't know what that transfers to for today's.
Yeah, and I think Batman '89 made like over 400 million.
Yeah, let me check.
And probably, as usual, a smaller budget, right?
Yeah,
because they always let's go big on the sequel.
This one was 50 to 60 million or 80 million for budget
for the Batman Returns.
Mm-hmm.
That seems low.
It is low,
but that was 33 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can't make a Hallmark movie for that now.
I'm really curious so maybe the budget was the same for the.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it here. Anyways,
so yeah, I was just again not a bad movie, just not my. Well, of course, I should say obviously the plot was poorly fleshed out and really non-existent, but more so overall not the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
but and it wasn't super campy as much as, because I think we were all, when we want a comic book movie, but we want a movie based off a comic book character. We don't necessarily want a movie just
a comic come to life.
Or we want take the character out of the comic book and put him in a real life movie setting. Don't make a graphic novel movie, with penguins with rockets strapped to their backs.
But that's where we disagree.
Yeah.
When those penguins came out with those rockets, I thought that is such a cute way to kill 100,000 people.
Yeah.
It's so adorable.
But not necessarily my thing.
that's something you would see in a comic book.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So in the new Batman, that's other than the character himself, all of that stuff is removed, and that's I think the Robert Pattinson Batman movies probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite.
Yeah. So I agree. The overall story is weak. Really weird moments throughout.
Yeah, like a lot of kind of off-putting moments.
Yeah,
that you're like, ugh.
Yeah, oh, that's gross.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, penguin bites that guy's nose, and blood squirts out, and the fish, and the teeth, and the constant grunting, and just like
that grunting, panting, and
the creepiness of some of it. I was like, even Shrek's son, I'm like, why does he have an accent and not his dad?
He was my favorite. He was.
I'm like, is he supposed to? Is he he sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like he's from Austria.
Yeah, it should be the other way around.
It should be the other way around. Why does the dad not have an accent and the son does? Did he adopt him from another country?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, interesting story for sure. Let's move into a different vibe.
All right.
Let's talk about Blake's top 5 for this
All right.
episode.
I got it. So this is my top 5 Batman toys.
Okay.
Across all movies?
Across all movies and the original. Because and I'll
You
explain.
mean the TV
the
series?
TV
Oh
series.
boy. Here
So
we go.
this is, but I don't think you'll disagree with
hope-
any of this.
Well, yeah, let's see what you
Okay, so
You had some honorable mentions.
I got some honorable. I'll start with the honorable.
I was about to say, so
Okay,
if
so-
you mention this, I'm going to laugh. Well, let's see what you say.
So this is a hard one because I grew up on Batman, and so I have certain experiences that have endeared me to certain
Is this
vehicles.
in any particular order?
So I'll start honorable mentions, and then I'll go 5 to 1,
Okay.
and then I'll tell you about a
with
couple
one
other ones
being
that-
like your-
one's the best,
okay.
the best. Okay, honorable mention. The Batmobile from The Batman
Okay.
is awesome. I like that because, and this is the reason I like the Christopher Nolan Batman, the first one in particular, because it's kind of like grounded in reality, you know? And so I like that car. That's a cool car.
It was awesome.
And then the Bat Cycle from The Flash.
Oh yeah.
That's like long and it's got that big front and everything. We should be like showing pictures of these.
Here, hold on.
Okay. Let's see if we can pull this off. Oh, you've got them probably. Well, you don't have some of these.
No.
Some of them you might have, but some of them you don't.
Bat Cycle.
The Bat Cycle, that's right.
Long. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Okay, so those are my honorable mentions. Number 5, the Bat Boat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Bat
From
Boat?
the TV series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciated the TV series because all the cars and vehicles, they had a spot for Robin. And, and that was nice. That was thoughtful.
Yeah,
So, okay, so the Bat Boat.
it's pretty cool,
Number 4.
especially when you're 8 years old.
Exactly. Which is funny because, like, you have a bat wing, you have a bat copter,
Yeah.
which was hard to leave off of this list. So why would you drive the boat? Even the fastest boats go like 30 miles an hour, right? So
So far these are all vehicles, but the topic is toys, right?
I'm sticking with vehicles. It's
Okay.
vehicles, but
Okay,
it
so-
felt weird to say top 5 Batman vehicles.
Okay.
So
All right,
I'm going
so-
back to the first one. This does he get these?
Okay, so
wonderful
this
toys?
is
These are vehicles.
vehicles. Top
Okay.
5 vehicles. Okay.
Okay. So number 4, the original Batmobile from the TV
From
series.
the TV series.
And this is because it's one of the first things I saw when I was like 7, 8 years old, and we went to the Autorama. Do you guys remember the Autorama?
Yeah.
I was not in Utah. I don't know if that was a thing.
It was, it was like a car show, and there was always like the Batmobile was always there, and strangely there were always like Playboy centerfolds there to sign autographs. It was the weirdest, most confusing thing as an 8-year-old.
Cars and Playmates.
But-
Playboy Playmates. Yeah.
But that I loved the original Batmobile. Okay, number 3.
I think you just like the Playmate. Standing next to it.
Come sit in this car, Blake.
It was a weird time. It was the 80s.
It's a
We were
weird
all
time.
confused. Okay, so number 3, Batwing,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
From which one?
From 89.
From 89.
Yeah.
Yep. The original.
Right.
So, except it was not very durable. We talked about that last time.
Yeah.
Single gun will bring it down.
But it looks super cool.
With a really long barrel.
Got to be fair. It was a long barrel,
It was really long.
which I don't know how that changes things. But
Caliber of the bullet's still the same. It's just a really long
still a
barrel.
22.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 2, the 1989 Batmobile.
Okay.
I mean, that's, we all had that poster and everything in our room. That was cool.
All right.
Number 1, the Tumbler.
Okay.
And I mean, that was cool. Like the sound.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All of
The
that.
fire coming out the back.
And then when it got damaged and you're like, oh, what's he going to do now? And then
Turns into a
flips into that motorcycle. And the motorcycle comes out and those two tires just flip.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So that's why that one's number one.
Good
okay.
list.
So the worst. So these are the, let's see, the bottom 2 or 3. Okay. The Batmobile from Batman Forever. I guess we're going to watch that one next.
Yeah. That super long one.
Super long one, and it's got that middle fin.
Yeah.
It's like 30 feet
It's
tall.
huge.
Looks like he's trying to go
So
back to
this is
1955 or something.
This is the one with Val
Kilmer.
Yeah.
I have to look.
And
at
it's
that
like,
one up.
it's got
'Cause
all
I'm
these,
thinking
it's
of
glowing all over the place.
I thought that was the one. I thought that was the
Clooney.
one. So Batman
Check it
Forever.
Whichever one that
Yeah.
is.
Take a look. It's, I think it's
Whichever
the
movie it is.
I think, yeah, whatever one that is, that's got the 30-foot fin on the
Yeah,
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on the list of the worst.
Okay.
And then the
Why? Because of
the fin.
Because it looks
Totally
stupid.
because of the fin. Yeah, and you know, I was kind of reading something about how Batman. That's the one. That's not retractable or anything. That's just how you can't go through under overpasses. You can't park it in a garage. You can only park it in like halfway in the back cave because the back half has to hang out.
And was this one a single seater? Or did it seat 2?
I don't remember either. We'll know. We'll find
watch it.
out
Yeah.
next week.
Okay.
Is it from Batman Forever?
I Googled Batman Forever Batmobile, and this is the one that came up.
Yeah.
So yes.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah. So something to look forward to. And then the last one is the Bat Cycle from the original TV show because it had a sidecar.
The sidecar, yeah.
And the funniest thing is like the sidecar has a big R on it for Robin. Yeah. Like just to make sure he never has any bright
He's like,
ideas.
"You're
Like,
not driving
hey,
this."
I'm driving to Dayton. No, no, you're not.
Where's the R, Robin? Come on.
Get in the sidecar. So that's my list. What do you guys think?
It's
Oh, go
good.
ahead.
Didn't the sidecar move sometimes, or is that a different show?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Now we got
I
to
vaguely
research that.
remember, yeah.
I don't know if he'd let Robin do anything on his own.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think it was a fixed sidecar.
Yeah.
But that's the list.
Yeah, I like it. I wouldn't personally. You guys know me.
You're gonna put Crystal Skull on here?
Oh no, that's a different podcast, man. Different episode, man. But if there was a Batmobile in the Crystal Skull, it'd be on the list.
Yeah, I would.
But it would be Ben Affleck's from Justice League. Would be
That one.
I think the Tumbler's still number 1, but the second one to replace the Michael Keaton one would be that one.
That one is cool.
Yeah.
Gosh,
Because it's kind of got a similar build to it.
There's
like
some-
it's kind of long and everything, but it's like more wide and like bulky, not so.
It's got guns on it.
Yeah, that one's cool.
Oh, yeah. That murders people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that list. Was there any other vehicles that we missed just in general? I think that's the boat, the copter, the plane.
copter.
So a couple.
Motorcycle?
So I'll make a couple comments on the bottom of the list there. So the Batmobile in Batman Returns, like, did he design? Is there like one street in the entire city of Gotham that is really skinny, and he built this whole?
If I ever have to
If
go
I
down this
ever have
alley,
to go, I better be able to make it skinny just in case this one street.
That was so stupid.
it goes, and then it takes that corner, and I'm like, it's how can it can't take that
it
corner?
would
It's like
flip over. Like
Yeah.
there's this one when he's designing the Batmobile, he's just like, okay, there's this one street in the whole of city.
Well,
of
that's part
Gotham.
of it. If I ever run from the cops, I'll go down that.
Yeah.
And I'll use this feature.
Right. Yeah. And then I was the Christian Bale Bat plane copter
Oh
thing.
yeah, like the
What is
what do
that?
they call that? The crawler or the
Something like that.
What was that?
That was pretty cool, but
I
could not
in the
figure it out.
moment.
It like perched on things
Yeah.
and then it just kind of hovered and
look it up.
Yeah, is it a drone?
I don't know.
I'm like, what? It sounded cool, but I'm like, it just
It just
looked
didn't look very cool. They
was
tried to
just
do
the
the
bat.
tumble. What is it called?
The bat.
yeah,
the bat.
and it didn't look very Batman-y. I mean, the tumbler didn't really either.
Yeah.
but the bat. I was not a fan of that thing. It looked
Yeah,
like
it
a
was
paper
weird.
mache.
It looked weird.
It just, I didn't buy it. I mean, I didn't. I like. How is it flying? There's no. Is it like a drone? Does it have propellers? I don't even remember.
I don't know.
But I'm like, okay, what is that thing?
Yeah.
I liked it. I don't think it's the best, but
Yeah, I definitely liked 89's Batwing.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
Looks
It's so
right.
cool.
It's-
and that's
yeah.
I've mentioned this. That scene
was it the same one that we saw in The Flash?
I think
Or
with
same-
some modifications, because in the Flash it kind of like
The seats
spins or
Oh, yeah.
whatever, and
That's right.
and his pod stays.
It's definitely different in the
Yeah.
Flash.
But the overall design is the same, right?
I think
Look
so.
it up.
Yeah,
But I like the one in the Flash.
I do love that the Batwing has one of its features is scissors.
Oh yeah. In case I ever have to cut some balloons, hot air balloons.
He thought of everything.
Yeah, he did.
Billionaire man.
Oh
Thought of
my
everything.
gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then was there a sub in Batman Returns? Like he goes down and he's in the sewers. What was that he was in? Was that the Batwing or was that something else?
Yeah. I don't remember.
I don't know.
It could have been a sub. Bat
Yeah,
sub.
the Bat sub.
Yeah, the Batwing in the Flash looks like the 89 Batwing.
With some passenger
Yeah.
modifications.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good top 5. I like it.
I thought you were sticking to. I'm like, these are all vehicles. So I thought for sure you were gonna say number 1, shark spray,
Yeah.
shark repellent.
That's right. Anyway, that's the list.
Cool. Good list. All right. So to wrap things up, our hot take, or my hot take, I guess.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. See if you guys let me know how spicy it is, if it's cold, if it's hot, if it's mid. But for me, Tim Burton is probably the worst Batman director.
Ooh,
It was terrible. First one was passable. This one was bad, just outright bad. And I didn't like. We talked about the story. He's not responsible for the script, but I'm sure he had some input, some involvement. He carried out the script without changing anything. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he did change some stuff, but like Tyson said, very Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Very kind of the same movie in the sense it's a Christmas movie. It's dark. It's got this weird vibe to it, a terror horror vibe.
yeah,
And I just didn't like it. I hated the direction. Like the actors did good. They are good.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell they
Yeah.
are good actors and they did what they could, but everything else was just bad.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's the worst movie I've ever seen, like you said, but it is definitely top 5 worst.
Yeah,
Like
in my
worst
mind.
movie?
Yeah.
Movie?
really,
Okay.
you hate it that
I-
much? Huh?
yeah.
yeah. I can definitely think
Outside
of some
of
pretty bad movies,
The
but
acting.
yeah.
Maybe I haven't seen those bad movies.
Yeah, but I mean, of all of the Batman movies, it is definitely on the bottom of the pile for me. for sure.
Yeah,
Beyond
I'm
a
holding
doubt.
out for Batman and Robin
Yeah.
because and for the director as well. Well, I'll just have to watch that one again for the first time and see.
Yeah, I am curious because I did think that. I was like, well, is it worse than Batman and Robin? But I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So I could have
Wait, you haven't seen Batman and Robin? Is that the one with
George Clooney.
George
Arnold
Clooney,
Schwarzenegger,
and Alicia Silverstone?
Lisa Silverstone.
I was in college, so I didn't have a lot of money to see all these movies when they came out. I think
then-
Matrix came out the same year.
They were like
pretty close to it.
$3 to go to the movie.
yeah,
Back then.
yeah. Plus, I was playing a lot of basketball. And stuff,
Yeah.
but- so I was choosy about my movies, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and I heard people say, "Oh, it's stupid. Don't go see it." So I didn't go see it.
But I would have thought that at some point, since between then and now, it would have shown up on TV.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh, let's check it out.
I just haven't seen
It's
it.
never even.
I've seen pieces here and there.
So this is when we watch it.
My first
It'll
time.
literally be your first time watching it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wonder if we should watch it together.
That would be all right.
Yeah, so maybe I amend my statement at that point, but for now, it's
the worst,
It's bad. I did not enjoy watching this movie outside of the good things I said about it.
Yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer, basically.
Didn't it all make it worthwhile when you saw like him remove all that debris and Christopher Walken is there like barbecued with eyes still fully
the
intact?
eyes are fine. Yeah,
That was the best.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of Pee Wee Herman, Large Marge.
Yeah. Exactly. If I was Christopher Walken, that would be my like IMDb profile picture,
Facebook profile picture.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
Oh,
poor Christopher Walken. I did appreciate that maybe they got wind of it, but they did talk about Vicky Vale and the Batcave thing because Bruce Wayne's like, Alfred, you brought Vicky Vale in my Batcave. Jeez.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yeah, there you go.
Well, that's a good point because I want to bring up is he took off his mask in front of Selina Kyle. Just ripped it off like, here I am.
And not just her, but him.
Yeah, the other guy.
The other, Max.
Yeah.
Shrek. Like,
So again, he's revealing his secret identity to these random, well, not random.
And he didn't know that they weren't going to be out of the picture by the end of the movie.
yeah.
And,
and she was crazy. She was like certifiably crazy too.
How Max Shrek buys it? Like the electrocution with the.
No, that was dumb.
I was so confused.
She makes the connection with it.
They're in an underground zoo that's like defunct and been closed for 50 years, but still fully operational.
Yeah, with power.
And there's a power plant in the penguin. Where are they?
Surrounded by a pool of water.
Yeah.
And she grabs the coil, but that wouldn't have been enough. She had to get a taser to make complete the circuit.
Him.
Like, you pretty sure you could have just kissed him. You didn't need to use the taser.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So dumb.
It was awesome.
And then she's alive. He gets crisped.
Because she had one life.
She had one
That's
life.
true. Yeah.
Which I guess cats chew on your fingers and you get 9 lives, I guess. Blood to your fingers.
Yeah. Totally strange.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's our review. That's our discussion of Batman Returns. Kind of wish he wouldn't have, at least at this story. We'll see how Batman Forever goes, how it compares. I want to compare these three. I think these are probably the 3 best ones of these.
Of the original.
The first 4, yeah.
I just keep thinking 2 more.
Yeah.
2 more, and then we get to really start
to
talking.
the good ones.
Yeah.
Gosh, there's that many Batmans. Are we going to do the Lego Batman movie?
Yeah.
Probably.
It's got to be better than this one.
With Will Arnett as the voice of Batman? Yeah.
Well, maybe we can watch it and just be like, oh, yeah, that was good, and then do something else.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's these 4. There's the Dark Knight trilogy, then the Batman, and then Batman versus Superman, Justice League. I don't know if we'll do that one, though, because that's not a true Batman.
No.
So these 10 without
It's got to be a Batman movie.
the Lego Batman movie.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
Yeah.
Good times.
The best Batman is.
So are we
Super
going to do
Pets, though.
Batman
Yeah.
versus... Are we going to do Batman versus Superman?
Yeah, it's Batman.
Oh, man.
It's Batman. It's in the title.
I've got some problems with that movie.
Yeah.
Oh, good. We'll have a lot to talk about then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think that we would be doing that one, but I just realized. I thought we'd do these ones, the Michael Keaton, George Clooney, Val Kilmer, Christian Bale, Robert Pattinson.
We're going to be doing this for 2 years. We're doing them all.
And that was it.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about Ben Affleck because he doesn't have a standalone Batman movie.
They were going to do it, and then crap happened. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a good one.
Well, that one turned into the Batman.
Oh, it did.
Oh, it did.
Not necessarily the story, but like this project is going to be
Shifted to.
Yeah, then it went a different direction.
Well, I'm glad it did. Because,
We're getting ahead of ourselves. You like the Affleck Batman, though.
yeah.
He's your guy,
He's
right?
my favorite.
Yeah. That's a top 5 eventually, I'm sure.
Yep.
But
Yeah, so we'll get into that as we go along. So thanks, guys, for joining us. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel, like, and comment on this video. Did you like Batman Returns? Let us know. And
no.
hopefully that's your answer. If there is something redeemable outside of Catwoman, let us know what that is in the comments, and we'll talk about it. So thanks, guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Adios.